Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name is Kyle. Today it is Memorial Day Monday, so I hope you guys are all having a great weekend. Hopefully, a peaceful, relaxing holiday weekend for you guys. Very thankful for the Monday off. But we're going to be going over the NFC South today. We already covered the Falcons and we already covered the Panthers. We're looking at the New Orleans Saints in this video. So there's a lot of moving pieces to the New Orleans Saints. We don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be. There's a lot of guys that left in free agency. So what we're going to do is we know that Sean Payton, Pete Carmichael, the continuity for the offense is in place for fantasy. So we love this. It's just going to be a matter of who the quarterback is. So before we get into the actual depth chart and see who we're going to be taking for fantasy, let's just review. We'll take a peek at the draft class in a second, but this is what stood out to me is the notable additions and the notable departures. The departures list is a lot longer than the additions. So they added tight end Nick Vannett from Denver and then defensive end Tano Passignon from I can't remember where he played, but only two major additions. We can even look at the free agency over here on Spot Track, and we'll pull this up. And then I also want to show you guys the contract for Taysom Hill versus Jameis Winston. So a lot of big names leaving New Orleans: Trey Hendrickson, Janoris Jenkins, Sheldon Rankins. There's the Nick Vannett signing, a 3-year deal for $8 million. That's a good contract there. Cornerback Justin Hardy, Emmanuel Sanders. There's Passignon from Kansas City. They did lose Jared Cook. PJ Williams re-signed. Alex Anzalone is gone. Josh Hill is also gone. Alex Arma, that was the fullback signing for them. Benny Fowler gone. Michael Burton gone. Just a lot of big names gone. So nothing really stuck out in free agency for me with this team. But let's just go back to here real quick. Here's the names. Of course, Drew Brees retired. Their leading sack man, Trey Hendrickson, gone. Janoris Jenkins, Rankins, Hardy, basically all the names I just mentioned. All these guys are gone, and to only sign Vannett and Passignon here, it's a big loss here for this Saints defense, especially, I mean, just looking at their top sack man, cornerback, defensive tackle, another cornerback. A huge chunk of defensive productivity is going to be out the window. So let's see how they added through the free agent or through the draft class. Pick number 28 overall, they get defensive end Peyton Turner out of Houston. He's not a very big, well-known player, but they must have liked what they saw with him. I think a lot of people had him as a day 2 or a second-round grade, but the Saints, they want to take him, and he's going to hopefully step right into that starting spot that Trey Hendrickson left behind. So he's going to get to basically just learn on the fly and start right away, I would think. So we'll watch for his progress in the training camp in the preseason. In the second round, they get linebacker Pete Werner out of Ohio State. Really solid pick that I liked here. Another corner, I guess, a cornerback, Paulson Adibo out of Stanford. That's 11 cornerback off the board. So heavy defense here, and that kind of just correlates to what they all lost in free agency this season. So it's a pretty smart draft move here to get the 3 people that they like that can contribute on defense this season. They come back in the 4th, Ian Book out of Notre Dame, offensive tackle Landon Young from Kentucky in the 6th, and then K'Wan Baker, South Alabama wide receiver in the 7th round. So I really like these top 3 picks. I think these guys can stick around in the team. We'll watch for Ian Book in the preseason, and we'll see what K'Wan Baker can do for fantasy in the future here, but we'll see if he makes the team first. So let's, I guess, before we, like, the whole question with the Saints for fantasy is, sure, we know Kamara is going to be a stud. We know Michael Thomas is going to be great. But what about the quarterbacks? You know, is it Taysom Hill? Is it Jameis Winston? We still don't have any kind of inkling on who's going to be the starting. Is it going to be some kind of weird, like, duo situation? I don't know. So what we're going to do here is I just want to show you guys the money. So the salary cap for 2021, I'm going to show you guys the cap hit. So this is filtered by the guys that are going to cost the most money this season for the team. And Taysom Hill is their 8th most expensive player here, almost $7.25 million this season. He gets a big signing bonus of $6.225 million here. And then if we go look for Jameis Winston, he's kind of down the list here. He's making $2.5 million this year. So Taysom's making 3 times the money that Jameis Winston is making. That might make me lean towards Taysom Hill being the guy that they use a little bit more. But again, this is the way it is. Like when I did my projections, I have a tab here that says New Orleans with Taysom Hill kind of being the guy for 12 to 13 games. And then I do have a New Orleans number 2 tab here with Jameis Winston being the main guy. So I really don't know which way it's going to lean. If I had to guess, I think I'm going to follow the money and give Taysom Hill the majority of the starts. If he If he proves that he is not capable of carrying this offense, they can always turn to Jameis Winston. So I think that's going to be my primary thought right now. As far as drafting these guys, I'm interested in Taysom Hill because he goes a little bit later than Jameis Winston. And for best ball, I've kind of just been snagging one or two, like one of these guys on almost every draft. It doesn't matter which one. I think they're going to have, both of them will have value at some point this season. But it's too hard to predict right now until we get to training camp and we see what they're going to do. I don't think they're going to tell us, hey, this is our starter for a while. So the way I've been doing it, I like Taysom Hill like really late in drafts, and I'll take a flyer on Jameis Winston for now. So I really have no clear answer. I think it's going to be Taysom Hill, but it wouldn't surprise me if Jameis Winston just looks really good in camp. He's got that new LASIK vision. But I don't know. We'll see here. I don't. What's cool is I don't think this. It's not going to change how I feel about Kamara or Michael Thomas. So let's be honest. The real pieces for fantasy football that you want this year from the Saints, it's Kamara and Michael Thomas, and then I would probably put Latavius Murray and Traequon Smith as guys that should be on your bench. So just looking at the running back room, Alvin Kamara, Latavius Murray, Ty Montgomery, Dwayne Washington, Tony Jones, and Stevie Scott. It's really all about Kamara and Latavius Murray. If we look at what these guys did last season, and again, like the way it was, they already played a majority of games with Taysom Hill last year. Kamara was still the #1 running back in PPR by a wide margin. He had 21 touchdowns last season. So I think I can't project Kamara to have a better season than he did last year, coming off a career high in everything, basically. So he's probably going to dip down in my rankings just a little bit to maybe the 3rd or the 4th running back. I think you could take Dalvin Cook or Christian McCaffrey over him without questions. So Kamara is slating somewhere in that 3rd overall, 4th overall pick for me. And then if we come down a little bit, you're going to see Latavius Murray down here at running back 34. And he's an insurance policy for Alvin Kamara. He did kind of pop off towards the end of the season, specifically in the reception game. He had some nice boosts here. He caught 2 touchdowns toward the end of the season, even one in the playoffs. But for best ball, I think that's where I'm interested in it. I don't really like drafting handcuffs. But for best ball leagues, you're going to get a handful of games out of Latavius Murray. So that's where I find him most useful. So it's all about Kamara. We'll see what happens with Tymo, with Dwayne Washington, but continue to draft Alvin Kamara and, as high as 2nd, 3rd, 4th overall, whenever you're feeling it, go for it. And then Alex Arma here is the fullback. But the wide receivers, man, Michael Thomas, Traequon Smith. Those are going to be the leading 2 wide receivers. No Emmanuel Sanders this year. I should probably not have Deontay Harris on here twice. But who am I missing? I'm missing Marquez Callaway, which I do have projections for, so I'll update that. But it's all about Michael Thomas. It's all about Traequon Smith. I just want to show you guys real quick the numbers that Michael Thomas put up with Taysom Hill for the handful of games that Taysom Hill started. Let's filter by PPR, and that would have been, I think, Taysom Hill's first game with Atlanta, week 11. He started 4 games, week 11, 12, 13, and 14. And you see here, 12 targets, 6 targets. I'm not really counting this Denver game. That was the Kendall Hinton at quarterback game. So this one we kind of throw out the window. He still got 9 fantasy points, so whatever. But looking at Atlanta, and Philly, he ends up with 12 targets, 11 targets, 8 targets. 2 of the 3 games, he's over 100 yards, 1 game, 84 yards. And no touchdowns in that game, but you see 19.4, 19.5, and 16.4. That's really, to me, that's really encouraging that he's going to have a high floor. He's going to have high target volume again. You see 9 catches, 8 catches. Taysom Hill can sling it to him. So I can't buy the argument that Taysom Hill is not an accurate passer. He threw for 72.7% last year. 928 yards and 4 touchdowns in roughly 4 games of work. You see all the body of work here from 11 to 14. So to me, I'm kind of excited about Taysom Hill being this quarterback. And you look at his fantasy numbers in these games. Let me actually filter by ESPN. And we're looking at, 24, 17, 25, 18. He has a floor with 17 to 18 points, and the upsides in the mid-20s for fantasy points. So I actually think I'm kind of excited about Taysom Hill. I get the Jameis Winston argument, but I think just the way the money goes and the way that they called up Taysom Hill first last year. So I think that's the direction I'm going with this team. And again, he can support Michael Thomas. And the way that I extrapolated those numbers from Michael Thomas was, let's see here. In 4 games with Taysom Hill, the man catches, 18, that's 20, 31 targets in 4 games. So that you extrapolate that out for 16, 17 games, and you're looking at 150, 160 plus targets for Michael Thomas. The receptions, again, 9 for 12, 9 for 11, 8 for 8. Hyper efficient with Taysom Hill. So don't shy away from Michael Thomas. He's a slam dunk pick in the second round, I think, this year. And then Traequon Smith. Let's take a peek at what Traequon Smith did in those same 4 games with Taysom Hill last season. So he missed week 11, but he played week 12, 13, and 14. Again, week 12, the Denver game was the Kendall Hinton game. But week 13 and 14, very competitive games. He still got 6 targets, 3 catches in both games, 42 yards and a touchdown, and then 60 yards. So if I filter this by PPR real quick, you're looking at 13.5 and 9 fantasy points. So you put that over the full course of the season and you're getting 6 targets per game. All of a sudden we're talking here maybe 90 to 100 targets and a handful of touchdowns and big yardage plays. Here's yard per catch 14 and 20. So Taysom Hill to Traequon Smith, I could see that. And I've actually been snagging Traequon Smith kind of a lot in best ball leagues just because he's very cheap. So don't shy away from Michael Thomas, even if it is Taysom Hill. If it is Jameis Winston, that's even better too. That should almost help us get more yards per catch and more downfield and more potential touchdown passes. So I'm looking at this as a win-win. Doesn't matter for Michael Thomas or Traequon Smith. It's fantastic. So as far as secondary receivers, let me just show you guys. I do have Marquez Callaway as the number 3, Deontay Harris, Juwan Johnson, Lil Jordan Humphrey. We're not going to need these guys too much. It would take a Traequon Smith injury to make us interested in Marquez Callaway, who had some nice moments last year. He did catch 21 of his 27 targets for 213 yards. I think he had one game where he had like 10 catches. So keep an eye on Callaway. Otherwise, we'll just kind of monitor these guys. We'll watch for Kawan Baker here in the 7th round to see what he does this summer. But for tight ends, no Jared Cook this year means Nick Vannett and Adam Troutman are probably going to be co-starters. Adam Troutman started to come on towards the end of last year, and he was actually very efficient with his targets. I think he only had 1 incompletion thrown his way. So yeah, 15 catches, 171 yards, and that's on 16 targets. He also caught a touchdown here. So as the season progressed here, you started seeing some more targets and some 2s and some 3s. But with Jared Cook out of the picture, I like Adam Troutman, specifically for dynasty leagues. I don't know about his value for this season quite yet. I think there's a handful of other tight ends that I do like. Bringing in Nick Vannett makes me wonder how much he's going to actually get to be on the field. It might be some kind of weird duo, but keep an eye on Adam Troutman. He could be your tight end 2 this season, and he's an interesting flyer in best ball leagues as well. Garrett Griffin, Ethan Wolf, Dylan Soner there as well. So for me, the Saints, it's a pretty straightforward fantasy evaluation. You're going to snag Alvin Kamara anywhere in the top 5 picks. And then I think Michael Thomas is a slam dunk in the 2nd round this year, guys. Just looking at what he did with Taysom Hill, and even if it is Jameis Winston, it's going to be some really nice numbers. Thomas was not healthy last year. He should be kind of back to where he was as a top 5 receiving threat. So go ahead and snag Kamara, snag Thomas, consider Traequon Smith late. And then for now, like if you're in best ball leagues, just try to keep taking shares of Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston. Even if Jameis Winston is the starting quarterback, they're going to use Taysom Hill. So to me, that's why I'm a little bit more I'm more willing to draft Taysom Hill later, because I just think either way, he's going to score touchdowns, whether it's receiving, rushing, or whatever. There's going to be a package for Taysom Hill, even if it's Winston. So take that for what it's worth. I'm excited about the Saints. Their defense lost a lot. I think this offense is going to have to be the leading unit from this team. And it could lead to a lot of nice fantasy points if they're playing from behind, having to keep up with Tampa Bay or Atlanta's offense, something like that. So the defense maybe digresses a little bit, but this offense should be able to stay on track with Hill or Winston. So that's going to do it for the New Orleans Saints video. If you guys are new to the channel, help me get to my goal of 500 subscribers by the end of summer. We'll see if we can get there, or if not, we'll get it through the regular season as well. But that's going to do it. We got one more NFC South video, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, coming up next. So stay tuned for that one, or check out some of the other ones we got in the playlist below. So cool. Thank you guys for hanging out. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.